Why does it feel like Shedeur Sanders is being sidelined while Gabriel gets handed the spotlight on a silver platter? Fans have noticed something weird happening in Cleveland. The team's top rookie quarterback hasn't touched the field in days, while another rookie with far less hype is quietly getting first-team reps, and barely anyone's talking about it. Shedeur Sanders, one of the most electric playmakers in college football last season, showed flashes of greatness in his NFL preseason debut. But now, with a minor injury, it's like he's suddenly invisible. Meanwhile, Gabriel, a quarterback some say hasn't earned the opportunity, is being protected from criticism, kept under wraps, and even had a major mistake covered up. So what's the truth here? Is Shedeur really being held back just because of an injury? Or is something deeper going on that the Browns don't want us to see? We dug into the facts, the rumors, and the behind-the-scenes footage to find out what's really happening in the Cleveland quarterback room. And what we uncovered might surprise you. Let's break it all down. If you ask the Browns coaching staff, Shedeur Sanders is simply being cautiously managed due to an oblique strain. But if you take one look at the footage from practice, or better yet, listen to the whispers coming from fans, insiders, and even rival teams, the silence around his status feels intentional. Let's break it down. During his first NFL preseason appearance, Shedeur showed exactly why he was one of the most talked-about quarterbacks in college. Poised under pressure, accurate deep balls, confidence on every snap. Sure, it wasn't perfect, it's the preseason, after all, but it was enough to get everyone asking, is he the real deal? And then, just like that, he vanished. According to official reports, Sanders suffered an oblique injury, something minor but tricky, especially for a quarterback. The oblique is key in rotational movement, which means it affects pretty much everything from velocity to accuracy to throwing motion. As head coach Kevin Stefanski put it, if he were a guard, maybe he'd play through it. But with a quarterback, you don't want to mess around. Fair point, but here's the twist: Sanders dressed out. He padded up, he was on the field, just not active, not throwing, not even touching a ball, not a single warm-up rep, and not a word about a timeline. The team keeps repeating the phrase, day by day. But day by day is usually code for, we don't want to tell you what's really going on. What's even more suspicious is the timing. Sanders went from full-on scrimmage to completely shut down with no visible contact injury, no obvious moment of pain, nothing caught on cameras, just a generic soreness label and a hard stop on reps. That opened the door for Gabriel to step in. And he didn't just take backup reps. He got access to the first-team plays, something many believe should be reserved for Shedeur if this were any normal rookie competition. So is this just a simple matter of protecting a player's long-term health? Or has the coaching staff quietly started shifting their focus toward another QB? Because let's be real, injuries happen all the time in the NFL, but when a top-tier QB prospect gets shut down without a clear status or timeline, fans will start asking questions. And the real questions started when the Browns gave Gabriel the keys without hesitation, despite what happened next. When Shedeur Sanders stepped off the field, many assumed Tyler Huntley or another veteran would fill the gap while the rookie recovered, but that's not what happened. Instead, the Browns made a bold, eyebrow-raising move. They put Gabriel in the driver's seat. No ramp-up, no slow progression, no proving ground. Gabriel jumped straight into first-team reps, the kind of reps that typically go to your franchise QB or the guy you're seriously considering building around. And that's where the whispers really started to pick up. Fans began asking, why him? Why now? Because if you're looking at performance alone, Gabriel hasn't exactly outshined anyone. In fact, many would argue his college career was solid, but hardly spectacular. He wasn't projected to be a breakout NFL name. He wasn't even in the same conversation as Shedeur when it came to marketability, arm strength, or leadership under pressure. Yet here he was, running the plays designed for the ones. Some say it's just strategy that the coaches want to test all their options, and with Shedeur sidelined, Gabriel gets a crack at the position. But others think there's something deeper, that Gabriel is being groomed, even protected to take the lead, regardless of what Shedeur does. There's even talk that the Browns may have always had their guy, and were just waiting for the first excuse to give him the job. Because here's the thing, Shedeur has been pushing for every opportunity since he arrived, while Gabriel has somehow coasted into top-tier reps with less film, less work, and fewer expectations. And when you combine that with how the media seems strangely quiet about his mistakes, something that definitely can't be said for Sanders, the idea of favoritism starts to sound a lot less like a conspiracy and a lot more like reality. the divide has already begun in the fan base. Online debates are popping up across Twitter, TikTok, and Reddit, from die-hard Sanders supporters who feel he's being disrespected to Gabriel defenders who claim he deserves a fair shot. But the one question neither side can answer is, why has Gabriel been given every benefit of the doubt, while Sanders gets none? This isn't just a QB competition anymore. It's turning into a narrative war, complete with biased coverage, selective praise, and a growing frustration that the coaches are playing favorites. But if you thought the reps were controversial, wait until you hear what happened in practice and how the Browns tried to make sure no one noticed. Because things only got messier when Dillon Gabriel made a major mistake and the team tried to erase it from existence. If there was still any doubt about the Browns' favoritism when it comes to Dillon Gabriel, it vanished the moment this one quiet moment hit the field and then mysteriously disappeared from the record. Gabriel threw a pick in live action, but unless you were watching extremely closely, you probably never heard about it. And that's exactly the problem. Here's what happened. During a joint practice, one of the most watched and talked about segments of the Browns' preseason schedule, Gabriel lined up for a high-intensity two-point drill. These situations are used to simulate clutch pressure defensive backs closing in, limited time, make-or-break snap. Gabriel made the throw, and it was intercepted. Flat out, no debate, the ball went off Deontay Johnson's hands and into the arms of a defender. A turnover in a moment designed to test a quarterback's decision-making. Normally, that's front-page news, but this time, it wasn't even tracked. That's right, the official stat tracker didn't log the interception. Commentators played it off, saying two-point conversion attempts don't count in official preseason stats. Technically, they're right. But that didn't stop those same trackers and media sources from hyping up Gabriel's highlights and counting similar plays when they worked in his favor. And here's the real kicker. If Shedeur Sanders had made that throw, every sports account across social media would have had it on a loop. There would have been debates, think pieces, and maybe he's not ready, hot takes flying across the internet. His name would have been in headlines by sundown. But because it was Gabriel, silence. No mention on NFL recaps, no quotes from coaches, no accountability. Just a quiet, brushed-aside moment, exactly the kind of thing fans are starting to get tired of. Now, to be fair, interceptions happen to everyone. Rookies, vets, Hall of Famers. That's not the issue. The issue is how much effort went into making sure that interception didn't become a story. Even the commentators mentioned it. If that pick had been visible on the tracker, it would have driven more numbers. In other words, fans are watching Dillon Gabriel closely now, almost waiting to pounce on a mistake. But the Browns seem unwilling to let those mistakes define him. That begs the question, why hide it? If Gabriel is their guy, wouldn't it be better to show he can rebound from a mistake? Instead, it feels like the team is playing defense, for him erasing red flags before anyone else can see them. And unfortunately for the Browns, this only poured more fuel on an already burning fire. Because if they went through that much trouble to hide one bad throw in practice, what else are they keeping off the record? When it comes to Shedeur Sanders, the Browns' messaging has been painfully consistent, almost too consistent, day by day. That's been the official status update for over a week now. No timetable, no practice plan, no depth chart movement. And when reporters try to push for more, what they get back is either a shrug or a carefully crafted non-answer. He's progressing. We're being cautious. It's soft tissue, no need to rush. But here's the problem. This isn't some fourth-string special teams player we're talking about. This is Shedeur Sanders, arguably the most watched rookie quarterback in the league outside of Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels. And the Browns are treating his injury update like they're guarding nuclear launch codes. Meanwhile, updates surrounding Dillon Gabriel have been surprisingly detailed. Insiders mention his hamstring tightness, speculate about limited reps, and already talk about his recovery curve. All while he suits up, throws, and runs plays in front of everyone. And yet no clear word on whether Gabriel is actually Cubone material or just the safest temporary option while Shedeur heals. Every time reporters bring up the competition between the two, the staff dodges. No clarity. No direction. Just more. We'll see. So why is one quarterback surrounded by silence and the other shrouded in excuses? NFL insider Tony G has been one of the only voices keeping it real, and even he sounded a little surprised at how quickly Shedeur has faded from public view. In a recent segment, he noted how the team was unlikely to play Sanders anytime soon, regardless of whether he actually needed more time off. In his words, It's inconceivable that he plays. But again, no one has said he's ruled out. That's the Browns' move right now. Say just enough without actually saying anything. This is exactly the type of situation that erodes trust between a team and its fans. Because if Shedeur really needed 2 more weeks, fine, be honest about it. But the Browns' refusal to give a straight answer is fueling rumors. Some fans are convinced he's already healthy and being held back strategically. Others think politics are at play, that Gabriel is simply easier to manage while Shedeur brings attention and drama. Either way, silence only creates room for speculation. The coaching staff might think they're keeping things professional, but in reality, the mixed messaging is only making everything worse. And just when people thought the situation couldn't get more confusing, one rumor popped up that flipped everything on its head, and this time, it wasn't about Shedeur. It was about why Dillon Gabriel might be getting a free ride. By now, it's clear something strange is happening in Cleveland. And the longer the Browns avoid answering questions, the louder the whispers are becoming. At the center of it all, Dillon Gabriel. On paper, Gabriel is a quarterback with promise. He had a productive college career, showed flashes of talent, and entered the NFL with enough buzz to be taken seriously, but not enough to be guaranteed anything. And yet, somehow, he's standing behind center, running with the starters, while Shedeur Sanders, a player with more upside, bigger moments, and arguably a better NFL fit, remains sidelined and in the shadows. So what's happening behind closed doors? According to official reports, Dillon Gabriel is dealing with a hamstring issue. But let's keep it real. When has a tight hamstring ever stopped a hungry rookie from proving himself in camp? Gabriel isn't jogging lightly. He's practicing. He's running plays. He's throwing with intensity. There's no visible limp, no restriction. So is he hurt or just being hidden? Some insiders and a growing number of fans believe the Browns are aware that Gabriel isn't ready yet. One strong performance from Shedeur, and the heat would shift instantly. So instead of letting Gabriel emerge and potentially fall apart under the pressure, they're giving him a soft launch. Limited media availability, filtered reps, and most telling of all, a complete lack of accountability. Let's go back to Gabriel's pick in practice. A clear interception. On video. But still, coaches gave him a pass. No harsh words, no benching, no pressure. Now imagine Shedeur made that same throw. Would we be talking about progress or humility? No. We'd be hearing about his so-called ego, attitude, and why he's not ready for the league. This double standard isn't sitting right with people. Even some NFL veterans have quietly commented on how the Browns are managing their QBs like a PR campaign, not a competition. And then there's the most outrageous rumor of all, that the team is deliberately sidelining Shedeur to increase Gabriel's trade value before the final roster cutdown. Wild? Maybe. But if that's the case, it's one of the boldest and most disrespectful power plays a team could make to a potential franchise QB. Another theory? That the team believes Shedeur's growing popularity and brand, big name, big expectations, and big media attention is too much to handle this early in his NFL journey. By contrast, Gabriel is quiet, under the radar, and easier to mold. So rather than risk letting Gabriel get exposed too soon, the Browns are staging him carefully. Stick him in safe drills, run scripted plays, keep flaws off the record, and if he succeeds, great. If he fails, just blame it on the hamstring. But this Saturday, there's no more hiding. Because when Shedeur remains out and Gabriel takes the field front and center, every throw becomes evidence, and the narrative that the Browns have been dodging all preseason, it's about to hit them head on. There are no more excuses, no more hidden picks, no more hamstring tweaks or vague injury updates. For Dillon Gabriel, this Saturday is the moment everything either comes together or completely falls apart. The Browns are out of time. With Shedeur Sanders sidelined, still held back by that mysterious oblique injury, the spotlight is officially and undeniably on Gabriel. There's no one else to blame, no safety net, and definitely no hiding behind stat filters or coaching silence. For weeks, fans have watched Gabriel glide through training camp with what many consider a frustrating amount of protection. First-team reps with limited public pressure, no in-depth media scrutiny, no coach tearing into him on film, and after that conveniently ignored interception from earlier in the week, patience has worn thin. Everything's been building to this game. Against the Eagles, Dillon Gabriel will finally be put in a situation where the camera doesn't look away, the reps won't be hidden, the coverage won't be filtered, and most importantly, The fans will be watching every single snap, waiting to see if the Browns' quiet favorite is actually worth the silence. And here's the thing. This isn't about who runs the most buttoned-up drives or who completes the most screen passes. It's about ownership. Can Gabriel command the huddle? Can he lead scoring drives against seasoned defenders? Can he recover from mistakes in real time without the media brushing them under the rug? More importantly, can he prove that he deserves the job over Shedeur Sanders? Because make no mistake, that's exactly what the fans will be comparing. Even with Shedeur on the sideline, his presence looms large. He's still trending on Twitter, still dominating highlight reels from his preseason debut. Still being talked about by former players and analysts who believe he's got it. So when Gabriel takes the field without that pressure coming from the bench, the pressure only shifts to the crowd. If Gabriel stumbles even slightly, the noise will be deafening. Let's not forget, Shedeur was already making waves before arriving in Cleveland. A proven leader, a precision passer, a technician under pressure. Ex-coaches raved about his mental processing and poise. So when he showed flashes of NFL decision-making in limited reps earlier this preseason, it looked like the start of something serious. Then came the oblique setback, the shutdown, the day-by-day limbo, and Gabriel stepped in not as a filler but as a first-option guy. That pivot from "will rotate" to "let's feature Gabriel" didn't go unnoticed. Now Saturday is the unofficial referendum on that decision. Win or lose, touchdown or turnover, every element of Gabriel's performance will be under an unforgiving microscope. Not just from fans, but from players inside that locker room too. You think players aren't watching that quarterback battle? Think again. There are rumors that some veterans feel Shedeur has earned more than he's been given, and they're waiting to see how Gabriel handles the moment. Respect is earned on game day, not behind closed-door meetings or filtered walkthroughs. If Gabriel underwhelms, or worse, if he hesitates or misreads under pressure, it isn't just the coaching staff he'll lose. It's the locker room buy-in, and once that goes, the job goes with it. Here's the setup for Saturday. Tyler Huntley could see some time, sure, but the Browns need to evaluate Gabriel as a potential backup or even long-term project. That's why he's going to get the bulk of meaningful reps. The playbook is expected to open slightly more, giving Gabriel a mix of short reads, medium throws, and likely a 2-minute drill segment. There's no more hiding behind hooks, screens, or safe bootlegs. If he's inefficient, that's on him. If he panics in the red zone, that's on him. If he can't finish drives with points, that's absolutely on him. Now, coaches will say it's just preseason. And technically, they're right. Stats don't count. Records don't matter. But perception? Perception is everything, especially when Shedeur's reputation already outweighs the reps he's been given. If Gabriel performs well, solid, clean throws, good mechanics, composure, he earns some real credibility. He buys himself time, maybe even pushes Shedeur to fight harder for reps once healthy. But if he bombs, if he panics, folds under pressure, or throws another pick on the national stage, that failure won't slide off the screen this time. It won't get buried on social media. It won't be clipped out of highlight reels. And it definitely won't be ignored by fans who have already seen enough to believe Shedeur deserves the job now, not later. Some fans have already made up their minds. They've seen the body language. They know when a player's being insulated versus when he's being challenged. And Dylan? He's had it easy so far. This Saturday, that ends. Because every series where he doesn't score adds fuel to the fire. Every throw that's just a little off will be compared to the ones Shedeur already made in his first appearance. Fair or not, that's the game. That's the microscope. And this isn't just about who starts week 1 of the preseason. This is about who the franchise believes in. If Gabriel flops, the sound you'll hear is a shift from cautious optimism to outright demand. If Shedeur steps back on that field next week and isn't elevated in the rotation, the backlash will be immediate. Because if the Browns are trying to hide a quarterback controversy, Saturday will explode it wide open. So to every fan watching at home, every analyst breaking down tape afterward, and every player watching from the sideline, here's the expectation. No excuses. No filters. No protecting anyone. You picked Gabriel. You gave him the reps. You cleared a path for him while the other guy sat in silence. So now, let the film speak for itself. Either the Browns walk away from Saturday feeling like they've found their diamond in the rough, or they realize they benched a star for a storyline that never should have started in the first place. Stay tuned. Saturday is the day the truth gets called to the line of scrimmage. As Saturday draws closer, one question continues to echo louder than anything coming from the Browns' press room. Did Dillon Gabriel earn this shot? Or was it handed to him from day one? After weeks of silent injuries, missed reps, filtered stats, and thinly veiled favoritism, fans are beginning to realize something bigger may be at play here, something that goes beyond just temporary game day decisions. This looks, feels, and moves like a narrative that's already been written. From the very beginning, Shedeur Sanders had the buzz, the charisma, the arm strength, the proven tape, and the eyes of millions who've watched him shine under pressure long before he touched an NFL field. But now? He's been reduced to practice walk-ons, padded appearances, and a day-by-day status update that hasn't changed in over a week. No concrete timeline, no vocal support from the coaching staff, no red zone reps, just silence. Meanwhile, Gabriel has walked a different path entirely, one paved with unearned snaps, low media criticism, and what feels like endless benefit of the doubt. The interception? Quietly erased. The minimal stats? Dismissed as growing pains. The first-team reps given without earning them? Passed off as part of the plan. But here's what the Browns don't seem to understand. The fans see it. They see the cracks in the messaging. They see the double standard. And they're not buying the idea that this is a neutral evaluation of talent. Because if it really were about who's ready, who's performing, and who's got the most upside, wouldn't Shedeur be the one getting those throws this weekend? Now look, it's possible Saturday changes everything. If Gabriel comes out and lights up the field, proves his poise, commands the offense, and earns genuine respect, then maybe this narrative gets rewritten. But if he doesn't? If Gabriel puts on another shaky, safe, overly scripted showing, then the organization needs to answer for why their most dynamic young player has been sidelined while someone else is being kept afloat with smoke and mirrors. Because at some point, the question goes from who's starting to who are you protecting? And if the Browns maneuver their way through this preseason without giving Shedeur a fair shot or worse, bury his opportunity under vague injury reports and politics, they risk not just alienating their fan base, but mishandling one of the most electric quarterback prospects they've had in years. So here's the real test. Is this team truly evaluating its best talent? Or are decisions already being made quietly, strategically behind closed doors? The fans know what they've seen. The players do too. And come Saturday, so will the rest of the world. Let us know what you think. Is this a fair battle between two young quarterbacks? Or has the outcome already been decided before the first real snap ever happened?